Hi, today we're going to do the phase 2 for 2 Kings chapter 5 verse 10. And we had an issue we'll have to deal with about the word clean. We really want it to be ritually clean. So let's copy this text. Before we start, let's pray. Lord, help us to have your guidance, to know how to do this, and let it be pleasing to you. Amen. Okay, so let's select this. I'm going to copy it. And now I'm going to go to TBTA. Now I go to Utilities, Proposition Analysis. Oh, I see that we've got English loaded. So let's switch the language. So I went to Utilities, select/add a target language. We're going to need the analyzer because we're going to be using the analyzer to do automatic analysis of this verb. Okay, so utilities now, proposition analysis. Now I see we're on verse 8. That's interesting. Looks like we never did verse 9. That's interesting. Okay, well let's go on with verse 10 and then we'll come back and do verse 9 later. Okay, so go to verse 10, click on edit text. I want to do verse 10 because that's what we did last, so that's what's on my mind. And let's click on analyze. Aha, River Jordan. Okay, that's not mapped to anything. So it's probably mapped in the English. So we're going to map it to Jordan. I don't know if that'll come out right. We'll see. And then clean. So the analyzer doesn't know if we mean clean as a verb or clean as an adjective. So it said then you will be clean. So clean is modifying a noun, so it's an adjective. So you click on the one you don't want. So we've got the clean with a V here, that's the verb. And then after that, clean with ADJ, that's an adjective. So we click on the verb. We click OK, confirm deleting this word. And the analyzer keeps working, keeps working, keeps working. And finally it finishes. Okay, I'm going to click Save Analysis. It doesn't right away show that there's any problem. I'm going to check, because I had problems with this before, I'm going to check that clean got mapped properly. Clean, yes, to 29. So in English, we're mapping it to the same word, clean, in English. Okay, so let's go back to utilities, proposition analysis. So we can click on generate and just see what it does. I'm not expecting it to be all correct, but sometimes that gives us hints about things that we need to fix. And while we're waiting, I'm just going to look up at the English. Sent a person, the message said, go and wash yourself in the River Jordan 7 times, then you'll be clean, your skin will be healthy. Okay. So what I was looking for just now was to see if there are any thing list things that have more than one item. So were there 2 persons but no. Elisha didn't come to the door. He sent a person to Naaman in order to tell a message to him. Oh, it says to him, to him. So there's something wrong there. That message said, go and wash himself. So it didn't get that it's go and wash. Oh, see, because up here I said, and you wash Naaman in the English. I should have put you in parentheses Naaman to indicate it was second person. Go and wash himself in the Jordan 7 times, then you'll be clean. Your skin will be healthy. Oh. Okay, so and I could change this and run the analyzer, but what I'm going to do is just correct this, and I'll correct it in the phase 2. That'll be easier because the analyzer takes a while to run. So I should have written it this way: you wash you, or maybe yourself. I don't know if we can do that. Might be able to do that. Okay. So he didn't come to the door. He sent in order to tell a message to him, to him. Okay, so we've got a problem there. Tell a message to, look, we got 2 destination arguments. I wonder why that happened. In the phase 1 we had in order to tell a message to Naaman. I don't know, that looks kind of bizarre to me. Okay, so down in the bottom set of buttons, in the 3rd column, the 3rd row, we see delete words. I'm going to click on that. Then I'm going to hold the control key down, and I'm going to click on the first part of this noun phrase, the second one. Looks like they're the same. And then on the right bracket that ends that noun phrase. Okay, so you can see in blue it selected that whole noun phrase. It says confirm deleting these words, and I click OK. So now we've deleted that extra to him. We certainly didn't want to him to him. So that message said go and wash himself in the Jordan 7 times. Okay, so here it is here. Naaman. So I'm looking now in the, let's see, first sentence, second sentence, third sentence. It's the 4th sentence. Down, it's the one at the bottom here. And Naaman washed Naaman. So the first Naaman here, it's an agent noun phrase. And routine is okay, singular, second person, that's what I was looking for. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. The ninth feature listed there if you hover the mouse over it. Wash, this should be imperative, so the clause, it says it's independent and imperative if we put the mouse over the clause boundary. So it's an imperative, it's telling him to wash, and it's saying immediate future, that's okay. You know, it might be a day later, but, you know, the person writing the message, Elisha wouldn't probably know. Oh, but in this case, actually, he's right there and he can go. But I don't know how long it takes him to get to the Jordan River, but from the perspective of this message, I think immediate future is okay. Okay, so wash. Okay, so this is the one we want to correct. Now, if we put it's a patient, so you can see wash has an obligatory agent and an obligatory patient. So it has the subject of the sentence, Naaman, wash, and the patient is the person that gets washed. Patient is, the role of patient is something that gets acted on. Okay, so That's the patient noun phrase. And then Naaman here, if we hover over the second line, the line under Naaman, we see that it says the ninth feature is third person. So we want to change that. So I'm going to, in the buttons down at the bottom, under the copy paste little white boxes, 2 down from that, it says features. I'm going to click on that. And then I'm going to click on Naaman. And I want to switch to second person. So it's the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6th row says person. Switch to second. The first row says singular. Routine in the second row, that's all fine. So now click OK. There's one more thing that you would think the program could figure this out, and maybe it can, but we can make this wash reflexive. So I'm going to click on wash. I already have features selected. And, oh, it's already marked. Okay, so the analyzer knew because the subject and the object was the same. It knew that Naaman was washing Naaman, so the analyzer automatically made it reflexive. So you see the fourth column of features, it says reflexivity, and reflexive is marked. Reflexive is when you do something to yourself. Reciprocal is when people do things to each other. Okay, so normally this is not applicable, but here it's reflexive. So click OK. And then we have, let's just keep working on this sentence. We're going a little bit out of order, but we have a noun phrase saying that it's in the Jordan. Now if you look at wash, if I hover over wash, you see there's never a destination. So we can't have a destination argument for washing, like washing in the river. So we want to have in, but River Jordan, but you can see it's not the right sense of in. It says in the boundaries of. I think we can do better than that. I'm going to click on senses, which is the button under the copy paste little white right triangles. Now I'm going to click on in. And what we want is in a liquid. That's the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6th sense here, since F is in foxtrot, in a liquid, sand or dirt. Okay. And let's see, it's the River Jordan. I don't remember that the Jordan River was mentioned previously, and I don't know if it's really matters for a proper noun, but I'm going to make that frame inferable that they know what the River Jordan is. Okay, now you see there's a problem here because it has in the River Jordan, then it has a noun phrase 7 times. So this is wrong. The 7 times should modify the verb wash. And in the Jordan should modify the river wash. So we should close off this bracket for this noun phrase in the River Jordan. So what we want to do is go down to the buttons in the bottom right, and in the third column of buttons, 1, 2, 3, 4, fourth one is move words. I click on that. Then you see at the end of the iteration 7 times, there are 2 right brackets. So one of those, I'm going to click on one of them. It went away. And now I click on the left noun phrase boundary for iteration 7 times. Usually when we insert something, we click on the thing and then it will insert it before that. So if I insert it, if I click there, it inserts that right boundary right before that, and that closes this noun phrase in River Jordan. Now we have a new noun phrase. Again, both of these were semantic role not applicable. If you hover over the phrase boundary, the second feature says that. And that's appropriate because wash only had two. It had an optional instrument. So you can say like you washed with water. So you could say washed with the water of the River Jordan. But I'd prefer to say washed in the River Jordan like we did. So it's not applicable semantic role. Should be not applicable for iteration 7, the number, times, generic word, and it should be plural, and generic, and that's fine, third person. Just push save analysis just to make sure nothing goes wrong. Let's keep going here now. Then Naaman was clean. Now this is predicative. That's correct. Okay, predicative means it's telling a feature of the subject noun. So Naaman is something. Except that you will be clean. So again, it's immediate future. That's fine. Now here we have clean. That's the usual sense of clean. Now I discussed this last time, and what I want to do really is pair the complex term with that for ritually clean. And I pointed out that we weren't going to be able to do that, but I'm going to show you how I can do that. I'm going to click on Ontology and Lexicon, Ontology, now adjectives, source object attributes, and target adjectives. So we're specifying attributes of nouns. Now in the pull down menu for the letter, I'm going to pick C, and then you see the two senses of clean. Now we're not going to be able to pair this as a complex concept because it doesn't have the right complexity level, but I'm going to change that. Now if you do this, you should let somebody know, like Todd or me, because we might not know, and it might get changed back. So what I'm going to do is I do a right click in the row that attaches to this ritually clean, clean according to Jewish law. Do a right click on that, and then I'm going to go down. You see a bunch of black things, and then there are a couple of gray, and then the next one says edit this concept semantic complexity level. Click on that. 1 is for the normal things, and 2 would turn it to magenta, indicating that it's semantically complex. Okay, so now we're going to be able to do it. So go back to proposition analysis. And okay, and I'm going to click on complex concepts. That's one of the buttons down at the bottom right, the third column at the top, complex concepts. And now I'm going to click on clean. Then I click on the pull down menu, push C as in Charlie. Then I scroll down, clean. I'm going to pair that second sense of clean to be clean according to Jewish law. Okay, so you notice now it paired it. So we have the regular clean paired with B clean, since B, as in Bravo clean. It still won't come out right when I click on generate unless I do one more thing, but we'll talk about that in a minute. Okay, let's go to the next sentence. The skin of you, this should be second person, it is. Your skin, it's frame inferable, that's good. We know whose skin it is because it's Naaman's body part, will be healthy. Then we have quote end period, that all looks good. So let's go back and look at the first couple of sentences. Okay, so this is Okay, notice we had implicit info for the first sentence saying that he did not come to the door. If I hover over the clause boundary for that first sentence, and then it's independent, it's a separate sentence that's independent, it's declarative, it's making a statement, that's good. Most agent-like, the third feature means that it's not passive. And then if you go way, way down in these features, you see implicit information. It's about like the 12th, 13th, or 14th, something like that feature down there. It says implicit cultural information. That's not correct. We can fix that. So let's go to the features button. That's below the copy paste little right triangles, 2 buttons down. Click on features. Click on this left clause boundary for the first sentence. Now I'm going to scroll over to the right because I know that this implicit information, and after scrolling over, I don't know which one this is, but now on this screen it's the third column. It says implicit information. This is implicit situational information. You know, based on the situation that this person is coming with this message, you know that he didn't come to the door. Otherwise, he would have said something himself. So I click on implicit situational information, then OK. Okay, Elisha, come. This is our storytelling mode, which in English usually comes out as past tense, so we want discourse. And if we hover the mouse over come, we see the third feature is discourse. So Elisha, come, but we want it did not come. And if you look at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, the seventh feature, it says polarity negative. So that's going to come out that he did not come. And come, if you put the mouse over come, has an obligatory patient, has an optional destination. So destination to the door. Door has already been mentioned, I believe. Naaman stopped at the door in verse 9. So routine is good for this. And it's singular. Okay, let's go to the second sentence. Elisha, okay, routine's fine, third person. Send, that should be discourse, and we see it is. Send, to send a person or thing to do some task, has an obligatory agent, an obligatory patient, optional source, and optional destination. Okay. Sent, so this is the patient. It has to have this patient. Says first person, which is correct because this person has not been mentioned before. That's the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th feature listed. If you hover the mouse over the second line, it's singular. Third person says, so it's a person. To Naaman, so that has this optional destination argument. You can see the little d is the second letter there. That's for destination. And hovering the mouse over the phrase boundary, we see the second feature listed as destination. So it's to Naaman. Okay. And we have an event clause here. In order to that person tell a message to Naaman. Okay, the program got it right. It decided that the subject of this subordinate clause should be person. So Elisha sent the person so that the person would tell the message to Naaman. So this is correct. To tell something to someone, to tell a story to John. Has an obligatory agent, obligatory patient, optional destination. Let's click on senses and see if that's the best one. I'm not sure. There are several senses for tell. Yes, okay, so there's first is like indirect speech. John told Mary that Steve went to the school. It's not a quote, but it's telling that something happened. The second one is to tell something to someone. Oh, to tell someone to do something. Mary told John to read a book. Third one is to tell someone about something. Mary told John about the conference. This is the one we want, tell a message. So we want D, and it already had D, so I can just click cancel. So you can, it already was since D. Tell a story. This is the first time the message is mentioned, so it's first mention. It's a specific message. It's not a generic message, so we use first mention instead of generic. And the fifth line says first mention to Naaman, Naaman's routine. Okay, so we have one more sentence we need to do. This one should be, yes, routine contextually near. That message said, okay, now said is discourse, that's right. That's our past, what comes out as past tense in English. But it's not the correct sense of say, because this is what we use for a person. John said to Mary. So we already have selected the senses button down here under the copy and paste. So I can just click on this say, and it gives me the different senses of say. I'm going to choose the fourth one, a book or text says something. This isn't exactly like that because it's not probably not written down, and maybe Todd will want to add an additional sense at some point for a message that's oral. But for now, let's just use this, and it has a quote. So it says the arguments are obligatory agent and obligatory patient proposition. So that message said, and now here's, if you put over the subordinate clause boundary, it says patient object complement. So it's a patient-like subordinate clause. And then the quote begins, Naaman, this should be second person, and I see it is if I look down at the ninth feature. Go. Immediate future, that's fine. And this should be imperative. So that's a clause feature. So go over to the clause boundary for the subordinate clause, and the second feature there says illocutionary force. Something about, so if you don't know all these linguistic terms, just be comforted that I don't know them either. But it means something about the intent of what this statement is trying to do. And it says imperative. That's the important thing is you see it says imperative there. So everything is correct. Okay, so now let's push generate. Now, I said that it wouldn't come out right with clean, but I just realized since we mapped the two words clean to the same English word clean, it's not going to make any difference in this generation. Let's see what it says. Elisha didn't come to the door. So we have that sentence put out. Let's just double check. Putting over the clause boundary, implicit situational information. So we got that right. So that's a choice of our audiences. Just to show you that, to remind you, I'm going to click on this audiences button you see up the upper left under ontology and lexicon. And the current audience is number one audience you see in the little upper left choice bar there. And so we've chosen churched adults, but there are all these options for extra explanatory information included in the translation. If you look at so in this section here, there are like 4 sections of choices. And in that section, it says implicit cultural information checked, implicit situational information checked. So because of this choice, we're getting that sentence being written out. If we unchecked that and clicked OK, we wouldn't get that sentence. Take my word for it. Okay, Elisha didn't come to the door. He sent a person to Naaman in order to tell a message to him. Remember, before we had to him, because we had 2 noun phrases there for some reason. That message said, go and wash yourself in Jordan 7 times. This is an issue with the form of Jordan, and this is something Todd's going to have to fix up. In English, it really should be the Jordan River. And I think that the term in English should be Jordan River, not Jordan. I'll bring that to his attention. Then you'll be clean. Your skin will be healthy. Okay. Let's go to ontology and lexicon. Ontology, nouns. Now, you notice that I always click on this pull-down letter menu, which is about 70% of the way over for the source terms. But there's another pull-down menu for the target, which is way over here on the right side of my screen. And I'm going to click on J for Jordan. So here it says Jordan. I'm also going to go to T just to... I wonder if we ever have something that says the. Well, we have the Summer Institute of Linguistics. Nope, it doesn't show anything with the. So anyway, I'll bring that to Todd's attention. It really should be the Jordan somehow come out as that. Okay, but other than that, it looks really good. Now, if you were generating this in another language, it might be that there are 2 different words for clean. And then you'd have to do something additional in order for it to come out right. And I'll show you that. So if I click on, now instead of clicking on utilities, I'm clicking on generator up at the top left. That's in between ontology and lexicon and utilities. Then the first one, lexicon and grammar development. This is where we work on our target language specific. Now this is not important for what you're doing here in the analyzer language. It's really not important, and it's especially not important for English because the 2 words clean were the same in English. But if you wanted to make sure that that ritually clean word could be used, which might be a different word, you could click on the complex concepts button, which is the at the bottom in the first column. It's the 3rd row. I'm not actually sure what the program's going to do here since we have the same word for clean. It might be that we don't have, this doesn't work, but okay, so I'm going to click on this pull down menu, click on adjectives. Okay, clean bee. Okay, so if we wanted this to be used in this, which we don't need it to be used, but we'd have to check these boxes next to clean, like to use those. So you might say, use it for adults, maybe don't use it for children. I don't know. Anyway, and then you'd click OK. And then the generator would be able to use that semantically complex term, ritually clean. Okay, well, that's what we have for today. And thank you for listening.